Happy Friday, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeVries, and this is our daily show where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is Dennis Tzeng.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Collider Movie Talk. It's Friday today. It's a special day for us because after the Schmodown airs today, we will be celebrating our 200 million views, which happened a couple weeks ago, but we've been all busy. We had to get the schedules together, so now we're actually going to celebrate. Who else is joining me on this knucklehead crew today?
Also here, Mr. Knucklehead himself, Jon Rocha.
What? Me? Yeah, red shirt guy. I'm back. Woo! I'm on 4 hours of sleep, so you're going to get this voice now. That's what you're going to get.
And also Mark Ellis.
You know, I don't want to take credit for all 200 million views, but I'm pretty sure 197 million of those views are not because of me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one, Ellis. That's great.
Actually,
Can't wait to go to the ice house later.
Before we get started, I forgot to remind you guys, on Monday is Labor Day here in the United States, so we will not be having a show on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday. Same with TV Talk. We'll have that on Tuesday as well.
Can I show up anyway on Monday?
Go ahead.
I'll just sit at the desk in the dark, talk movies. You're more than welcome to come.
Or you can stay over here over the weekend. After our party, you can stay here, sleep here through the weekend.
I'm doing mailbag on Sunday.
Okay.
I might as well camp out.
Yeah.
Who's in?
Yeah.
No one?
Sinead's in.
Do you have keys to the studio?
No.
We can have a couch party.
Oh.
Look, you either got to sell
Get
this.
your heads up.
I remember couch parties.
All right.
Back
good
in
talk,
your
you
day.
guys. Good talk. Good talk.
Back in my day, we didn't have beds. We had couches. We were happy for them.
And we liked it.
All right, what do we have first?
All right. Jon Favreau is heading back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. According to Variety, the actor and director will not be coming back as a director, but instead will join the production of Spider-Man Homecoming, reprising his role as Happy Hogan from the Iron Man movies. Favreau's casting in the film makes sense, given that we already know Robert Downey Jr. will be co-starring as Tony Stark / Iron Man, so perhaps Happy will get to cross paths with the webslinger himself. Spider-Man Homecoming hits theaters on July 7th, 2017. Dennis, what do you think about Jon Favreau returning to Marvel as Happy in Spider-Man Homecoming?
I'm glad to see Jon Favreau back in the Marvel universe, even if it's not directing. And maybe this, like him coming back to this film, maybe that will lead to more talks of him maybe doing another movie. I mean, there's always these rumors of when Robert Downey Jr. may or may not be leaving this Iron Man role. And I would like to see Jon Favreau come back and maybe direct his send-off as his last film. I'm just speculating here. But as far as Happy Hogan, yeah, he's a fun comedic character, and I'm glad to see him back. Mark?
I'm more thrilled about it than Jon Favreau appears to be from that image that Ray got. Yeah, I mean, I like seeing Favreau show up as Happy Hogan. I think I caught Iron Man again on TV the other night for like the umpteenth time. It's a great film, and Favreau's really good in it as Happy Hogan. Yeah. He adds a nice level. It's a comedic layer, but he also knows that he is the support system for Tony Stark, one of the people that helps enable Tony to do what he does. So having Happy in the movie makes me think we're going to see even more of Robert Downey Jr. than I thought we would in Spider-Man Homecoming, which is always good news. I can never get enough Tony Stark, so it's nice to see that him and his people will have a presence in Homecoming.
Rocha?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic news because he's so great in that part. And, you know, obviously he was great directing the first Iron Man, but it's nice to kind of go back a little bit to restart a property, right? You're restarting Spider-Man. It's not an origin story, but you're kind of restarting this idea with a new Spider-Man. He was there when they started Iron Man, so he'll be there on the set to maybe have some thoughts, some guidelines, things of that nature that'll help them fit within the Marvel universe. And, you know, it's just having like another possible reserve cook on the set to maybe help a little bit to guide, to guide it to a good outcome. So to me, I'm happy with it. I think he's great. I'm not sure what role he's going to be other than bodyguard, but it's kind of getting harder and harder to believe him as a bodyguard because Jon is not necessarily the most physically limber guy you would say at times when you see him in this part, but his comedic chops, his friendship with Tony Stark is what comes through in the films, and you want to see that, how much that's going to gravitate to Spider-Man and what Tom Holland is doing with the character.
Well, you make a good point that maybe he's also there to maybe help guide, this new Spider-Man, franchise, especially, people forget that he's the one who started off this Marvel Cinematic Universe and set kind of the tone of everything, and they followed that tone throughout. I mean, the one thing about the Marvel films is they're very consistent in what they do. Do you guys want to see him back as a director for the Marvel Universe?
Oh, I do. Absolutely. I wonder what happens in the Marvel Universe with people like Joss Whedon and Jon Favreau who don't want to necessarily rush back to direct another film or have issues like Whedon had in Avengers Ultron. Like there was issues there going on. So it must be a lot of pressure. So yes, I'd love to see him come back, but the exchange might not be physically well for him to do it. You know?
After seeing The Jungle Book, yeah, I mean, I'd love to
Yeah.
see Jon Favreau do something with a huge budget again because he clearly knows how to do those movies well. Even with Iron Man 2, which felt like there were a lot of notes that were shoehorned into that movie, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it's not up to the quality of a lot of the other films in the MCU. I mean, you bring up what he's going to be doing in the movie. Maybe he's not a bodyguard all that much. Maybe while Tony is guiding young Spider-Man, somebody's got to hang out with Aunt May. I'm just saying. He might be hitting on her. She's single, I hear.
Hot Aunt May, yeah.
All right, what's next?
Production on a new Jumanji movie begins soon, and social media master Dwayne Johnson took to his Instagram account to reveal concept art of his character, Dr. Bravestone. It was The Rock who also confirmed the movie is not a reboot, but rather a sequel to the 1995 film that starred Robin Williams. And while we don't have much to go on in regards to Johnson's Dr. Bravestone, he certainly seems ready to jump into Jumanji and do battle with all the jungle creatures that he's sure to meet. Jumanji is set to open in theaters on July 28th, 2017. Mark, what do you think of The Rock's look in the new Jumanji movie?
I think I was a huge Sergeant Slaughter fan when I was a kid, so I like this costume by The Rock. He looks like he's prepared to do battle, whether it is with some sort of weird-looking enemy or he's like a really buff Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. Maybe he has to tangle with dinosaurs, other animals, because the board game does come to life. So if you're playing a game and a lot of animals come to life out of said game, that's probably how you want to dress. He looks prepared, Dennis.
Rocha?
Yeah, he looks fantastic. I love it. It's a good combination. You know, Mark Riley said something about don't adjust your set, and then Indiana Jones hasn't been in the gym for 5 years. It was brilliant. I mean, it's just that kind of vibe you have from it. But I think it's also smart because, A, you're not doing a remake. This is really brilliant. You know, people love Robin Williams so much ever since the passing as well. It just doubles down on that feeling of Robin Williams. If you're going to remake this, I think it would have been very dangerous, a very dangerous tightrope to walk. And now with The Rock coming in, with Kevin Hart, they had great chemistry in Central Intelligence. You have a good vibe about this being a continuation, which means they can still use stuff from the first movie as kind of canon and then expand upon it and build it out with new effects, new technology, another good script, and then better fun to be had all around. So I think it's a great choice or a great look.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch almost anything The Rock is in, and I'm looking forward to this movie just because he's in it and it feels like it's going to be an entertaining film. But when I saw this picture, me and Riley were going over the stories yesterday, and I saw it. I honestly thought it was like some sort of photoshopped fan art or something like that. It looks like something where if you're playing a video game and you can make a custom character and they decide to make a custom character look like The Rock, that's what this looks like. So this isn't buy or sell, but to me, I would actually sell this picture.
I just like that he put the smoldering doctor. So he's in on the joke. He gets it, what the look is kind of like, not comical in its way, you know, supposed to be tough, but probably not really.
And not everybody can pull off that last name Bravestone. You know, like you're not going to be able to see me. I would have to change my name. If my last name, if I was born to the Bravestones, they'd look at me and I'm like, I am not up to your caliber. I'm sorry. I'm not a Bravestone. I'm an Ellis.
Sinead, you took a look at the picture. Are you excited for Jumanji?
I mean, yeah, I would be excited about it regardless. This picture is a little cheese ball, and it has Indiana Jones written all over it. Did anyone say that? That's my first thought. But I love The Rock. I love Jumanji, and I'm super excited no matter what.
Indiana Jones on major steroids. Yeah. All right.
Allegedly.
All right, guys. Now we're moving on to buy or sell. Sinead, what do we got up first?
Jackie Chan has been in the movie business for more than 50 years, and ever since Rumble in the Bronx in 1996, Chan has hit worldwide success with the Rush Hour movies, Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, Around the World in 80 Days, The Karate Kid, and the Kung Fu Panda animated films. Now, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will bestow an honorary award on the actor to be handed out during the Academy's Governor Awards that will take place this November 12th. Rocha, do you buy or sell Jackie Chan receiving an honorary Oscar from the Academy?
Oh, I absolutely buy this. I think this is great. You've got to appeal. You can't be so jingoistic that you don't understand Asian cinema as well and his contributions. And I think Jackie Chan is a great place to start. He's a fantastic actor, fantastic guy who's dedicated himself to the craft of filmmaking. And I imagine that's the undercurrent of the award, the intention of the award. And so for all the work he's done, you can argue quality of the films all you want, but he's been able to cross over internationally, had success in numerous countries with it. So why not honor him for the work he's done, the work he continues to do, and the people he has mentored below him who come into cinema and Asian cinema and are influenced by him, not only as martial artists, but also action directors, also comedic directors, and the fact that he's willing to do the stunts. And that tells you something about respect he has for stunt work as well. So to me, I think this is a brilliant, brilliant thing, and he's a great guy to go with because he's going to be appropriately humble and respectful of the situation and very much honored by receiving the award.
Yeah, I buy it as well. I'm not sure about the timing. I mean, I think he's like 62 years old. I mean, he looks great for 62. I think Peter O'Toole, when he got his honorary Oscar, he was about 70. So I don't know like what prompted them to do this because I think he's still making movies and everything like that. And yeah, he brought something different, especially to the martial arts genre. I mean, he had started off working as a stunt extra. Mm-hmm. He worked on actually some of Bruce Lee's movies. Right. And they kind of tried to make him go that route, that more kind of serious, realistic. And then he kind of took more the Buster Keaton approach and added humor to his martial arts. And you're right, he crossed over not just in Asia, but internationally. And in the mid-90s, they had tried to import some Asian movie stars over, and he was one of them. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Chow Yun-fat. Yeah. And he was the only one that really made any kind of success with the Rush Hour movies. He was in Shanghai Noon. He did even the Karate Kid remake. So I think this is well-deserved. What about you?
It's a huge buy for me, and I think Chris Tucker should present him with the award of the governor's ball. I'd actually be willing to put money on the fact that he is the guy that does it. But, I mean, when you hear American directors gush about seeing Jackie Chan when they were kids and what an influence it had on people like Quentin Tarantino, for example, this makes all the sense in the world. And Dennis, you bring up a great point, how much fun Jackie Chan has making movies, because a lot of times you see action stars, and The Rock's actually a great example of somebody who also has fun making movies. But like when you see like Jason Statham or you see like Steven Seagal, they always have a scowl on their face. They always have to be in badass mode. And Jackie Chan just has fun. He's a great ambassador for action and kung fu films. He smiles all the time. He'll stay and sign every autograph that fans have for him. He's a great personality in addition to being an awesome action star. This is total deserved on his part.
Favorite Jackie Chan movie?
Is it Drunken Monkey? Is that the one?
Drunken Master.
Drunken Master. That's my favorite one, just because that's, for me, is where he hit that Buster Keaton moment combined with the martial art, the brilliance of his martial arts.
Okay, mine is Drunken Master 2, the second one that came on later. What about you?
I'm going either the first Rush Hour or Rumble in the Bronx. Rumble in the Bronx was the first time I really was introduced to Jackie Chan and what an incredible athlete he was. So I'd probably say that, but those first two Rush Hour movies are pretty great.
Yeah, I think Rumble in the Bronx was the first one they kind of imported over, released nationwide here, and also everyone loves watching those kind of blooper behind the scenes stuff of him either messing up a stunt or actually he shows his injuries as well. So all right, what's next?
After losing its Pitch Perfect 2 director in Elizabeth Banks earlier this year, Variety now reports that Step Up All-In director Trish Tsai has taken over the helm. The project was initially scheduled for a summer 2017 release date before being pushed back to December 22nd, 2017. Tsai helmed the 5th installment in the Step Up franchise, as well as choreographing the OK Go music video for Here It Goes Again. Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, and Brittany Snow are all signed on to return. Dennis, do you buy or sell Trish Tsai as director on Pitch Perfect 3?
I'm gonna tentatively buy this. She's only done one feature film, which is that Step Up All-In movie. She's directed some music videos and commercials, and obviously I think we can expect the dance choreography to be well done and the musical numbers. But the one thing, at least for myself, that appeals about the Pitch Perfect franchise is the humor and the tone of it. And while I did like the second one, I didn't like it as much as the first one. I felt like the tone of it was a little uneven, and Elizabeth Banks kind of had like a hit or miss with the comedy. And so that's the part I haven't seen Trish do any type of humor. So that's the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. Rocha?
Yeah, I'm cool with this because I agree with you, Dennis. I like the first Pitch Perfect better than the second Pitch Perfect, and I think Elizabeth Banks is the reason I didn't like the second Pitch Perfect quite as much. The script was great. Kay Cannon, I'm a huge fan of Kay Cannon as a writer, and she's the one that came up with this concept, wrote it, created it. So you have this new director coming in, and the second one made so much money with a new director like Elizabeth Banks, so why wouldn't we take another chance with someone who's already had at least their foot in this genre to a degree? So you know the action, the dancing sequences will be great, the way it's framed, the way it's shot, it'll elevate it. And I think you have to go to a next level with something like that. If you're going to make a trilogy here, you've got to make bigger scenes, more interesting, exciting, glamorous, all these kinds of things. I think this one, Trish certainly has a definitely chance to create a good Pitch Perfect 3 film that will bring us back to the first Pitch Perfect and the enjoyment of it.
Mark?
Well, unlike Rocha, I don't have a Step Up 5 poster in my bedroom, and and it's nothing personal against her. I can't buy this yet, because I haven't seen proof that she can nail those comedic, humorous tones that I think Pitch Perfect 2 was lacking in. And I would also pin that on Elizabeth Banks as the director of that movie, where she just wasn't able to consistently hit that tone that you need to. And as much as I do enjoy those set pieces when they're performing music in Pitch Perfect, I know that's a huge part of that film franchise. What's going to keep this thing going is people enjoying the storylines and people laughing watching the movie. It's not just about going to see all this great choreography. You need to have some heart. You need to have some humor in there. So I've never seen Step Up 5, to be honest with you. Maybe there's a bunch of humor and heart in there
You're missing out.
that I am not seeing yet. But until I check that out, I can't buy this just yet.
Sinead, are you looking forward to Pitch Perfect 3?
Well, I echo what you guys were saying from Pitch Perfect 1 to 2. I really enjoyed the first one. I liked the second one, just wasn't as good. But if we talk about Step Up, I've seen the first one and I really enjoyed it, but the rest of those Step Up movies, in my opinion, are garbage. It's not good. They're not
Garbage.
good films. So I would have to sell it for now, just because that's all we've seen her do, and I, based on that alone, would be like, ooh. But I do like the fact that she's a choreographer and a really good one at that, because, like you said, these scenes have the potential now to be even bigger and greater, because these are all people who come from musical theater. They have it in them to dance and kind of create a huge scene. And because I have seen her choreography and I really do like it, that gives me hope.
All right. What's next?
All right, IFC Films has released the first trailer for Certain Women, starring Kristen Stewart, Michelle Williams, and Laura Dern. Based on the short stories by Maylee Malloy, the film revolves around the story of 4 individual women striving to forge their own paths. The film had its world premiere earlier this year at the 2016 Sundance Film Festival and is about to screen at the Toronto International Film Festival, with reviews out of Sundance already very positive. The film opens in theaters on October 14th. Rocha, do you buy or sell the first trailer for Certain Women?
Let's see. Okay, as a woman, let me tell you, I think this trailer looks fantastic. I had a lot of interesting feelings as I watched the trailer, because to me, I'm like, okay, this is very much made for women. I am not a woman, so I think there are nuances in this trailer that women will get and understand in these characters and the situations they're finding themselves in, like Michelle Williams with her idiot husband. You have Kristen Stewart, who looks like she's starting again her life over to a degree again as a teacher, but she's falling in love with one of her students. And then you have Laura Dern dealing with her husband, Jared Harris, who's one of my favorite actors ever. And all so I think there are a lot of beats and notes here that women will understand, gravitate to, and get in a way that films that are made just for men, that are these kind of contemplative, figuring out their life, dealing with relationships type stuff, that we get intrinsically or viscerally because we're men. So I totally buy it. I just, as a man trying to buy a film like this, it looks like it hits all the right notes for women to really get a deeper film than something surface oriented.
Well, I'm tentatively going to sell this, not because I think that the trailer is terrible, but I feel like this trailer is kind of one of those more like mood piece type of trailers where they give you the atmosphere and the feeling and the tone, but there's not much story here. And I think that works when you're doing like big budgeted movies, especially with teasers to big franchises, right? Like Star Wars. For an indie film, you're trying to get as many people to watch it as possible, because you're already starting kind of on an uphill battle. And so I feel like you need to sell them on the story. I don't know if we got enough of that. Mark?
I'll buy the trailer slightly for kind of the inverse or the converse reason that Dennis presented. Is it like the same way that I bought the trailer for Rob Zombie's 31? Very similar movies. Because not necessarily that I want to see 31, but I appreciate that they're marketing it towards that audience, that they're not trying to say, hey, everybody needs to go see 31. Same way that this is not saying that everybody needs to go see certain women, that it's the next Star Wars. It's going to be something in there for everybody. And I do think the performances look very strong.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to buy it, is that I think that for the demographic this is going to be aimed towards. And who knows, I might get in the theater and say, oh, well, it didn't have a lot of lightsabers, but I actually really enjoyed certain women. I think that it's going to be strong acting performances. And Kristen Stewart, man, say whatever you want about Twilight. I think that when she commits to a role, I think she can be pretty good in it. So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
I liked her performance in Still Alice.
Yeah.
It was something different from Twilight.
Yeah, and Clouds of Sils Mara, she's fantastic in that with Binoche as well, a good back and forth. Kelly Reichardt, Meek's Cutoff was an interesting contemplative film about women in the West. It's a fantastic film if you're willing to sit down, relax, and take your time, almost Malick-like, through a film. And I think the vibe is the same here. And so you know what you're getting with a Kelly Reichardt film. It's not going to be lightsabers.
Right.
It's going to be very much, a slow build to
lightsabers,
where
what?
it's going. Right.
But after a summer that had a lot of blockbusters I was geared up for and just felt a little flat afterwards, it's nice to see the change of pace. It's nice to see the tides turning that as we get into more Oscar contending fare. Yeah. Maybe Certain Women's going to be one of those movies.
Yeah, I think Hell or High Water definitely helped out.
Damn
with that.
right.
Absolutely.
All right, what's next?
Netflix has released the first trailer for the Christopher Guest-directed Mascots. Guest is best known for his acting in This Is Spinal Tap before stepping behind the camera on the cult faves Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show. The new movie examines the world of professional mascots where they compete for the most prestigious award in their field, the Gold Fluffy. The film will be released October 13th on Netflix and will premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival next week. Mark, do you buy or sell the first trailer for Mascots?
It's a huge buy for me, Sinead. I loved watching this trailer. I love what Christopher Guest has always brought to the screen. Him and the ensemble players that always show up to give 100% to whatever the hell Christopher Guest has in mind for him to do. This looks like it could be in line with Best in Show and all those other great Christopher Guest productions that have happened recently. I loved watching this trailer. And my buddy Brad Williams is a very funny comic, has a hilarious scene with Fred Willard in there. So I recommend you watch this trailer. I don't know about the distribution, why they decided to put this one straight to Netflix instead of a theatrical release.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm definitely going to be streaming this one as soon as it comes out.
Rocha?
Yeah, I buy it too, absolutely. I mean, anything Christopher Guest does, I buy it. I even liked For Your Consideration, which if you work in this business, you understand that film
So
very,
good.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't hit probably the mainstream people because the nuances in that film were so difficult to get if you don't actually experience it. But this looks so much fun. As a sports fan, you make jokes about mascots all the time. So for me, this looks hilarious, looks funny. The mascots they've chosen to do are really fun. I mean, the fist hockey one is just so brilliant, all around. So much going on there. And so, but to me, I'm a little nervous about the Parker Posey stuff because I feel like she's a bit out of the thing for it. I think she should have been the coach of the mascot instead of being a mascot. I think she's at that age where she should be playing the more in charge of roles, to see how the comedic nature of being more in charge than actually being a mascot. So to that a little bit, but everything else looks hilarious. You're right. Your friend looks so funny in that scene with him and Fred Willard. And so there's so much to like about this. But I am concerned that it's going straight to Netflix.
You're concerned about it.
I am. I would rather, if it was, every one of his other films has been a studio release. So it seems weird to me why they would go straight to Netflix, especially if they're screening it at TIFF. It just doesn't make sense to me to a degree.
It's a big buy for me as well. Christopher Guest mockumentary style. Just even that opening line with even if people are screaming at you and you're not allowed to talk, that's a good lesson for marriage. And it's got a great cast. With the whole Parker Posey thing. That. At that first part, I actually thought that was Elizabeth Banks at first. I thought it was,
yeah.
And then later I saw, okay, that's Parker Posey. They look very similar, has similar vibe to him. Great cast. In terms of the whole Netflix thing, it doesn't worry me at all. I think it's not. I don't think it's curious because I find these type of movies that have a dedicated audience. Much like I think in the future with indie dramas, I think Netflix, Amazon Prime, VOD, all those things, I think it's going to trend towards that way because the audience for those are the type of audience that do want to sit at home and watch these movies instead of going out to the theater, where I think the tentpole films will attract more. Are you worried at all about it being on Netflix, Mark?
Worried? I'm having a party. My place. You can come over. You don't even need screening room, which means, Dennis, I'm willing to knock down your ticket price.
Yeah,
$5
for your free or not free Netflix, but your $8.99 a month Netflix.
Yeah, you can come over. It'll be $5 for you. It's going to be $3 for everybody else. We'll watch this movie. We'll watch Mascots. You get a token if you need to use the restroom.
Okay.
Tokens are 25 cents.
How many tokens do we get?
You get one token for 25 cents. If you need an additional token, it's $1 for every token afterwards. Or you can just be like Ashley and just go right on the carpet.
Oh. Wow. Yikes.
She brought it up, not me.
All right, guys. Before we get into box office predictions, I want to check in with Wendy and see what's going on in the chat room.
So we're talking about Jon Favreau reprising his role as Happy in Homecoming. Of course, the chat's happy to see Happy back in the MCU. He's also a great side character. Matthew Borges says, it's nice to see him back as Happy, but after Jungle Book, I would love to see him direct another movie. Yeah. And Damon Asbury says, Favreau coming back is great. This is a great place. This is a good film to place his character in due to his comedic lean and also the tone that they're aiming for with this movie. I would love for him to direct again, too. And also moving on to The Rock's concept art in Jumanji. The chat says he kind of looks like a cross between Indiana Jones and someone out of Jurassic Park. And apparently it also looks like his character from Journey to the Center of the Earth 2. Patrick Alexander Florence says, what do they do with his pecs? And Emil Johansson says, I want Jumanji to be scary, not family friendly. This does not interest me.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. And thanks, chat room. Now we're on to box office predictions. This is the weekly Friday segment where we try and predict the top 5 films of the weekend. Mark, what are your top 5?
You guys try and predict. I get this thing right. I guarantee another 2 out of 5 performance. I'm going to kick off. I think Don't Breathe is going to be number 1 again. I think it's going to slightly edge out Morgan. Yeah. I think Morgan, and then I'll go Suicide Squad. And then I will go Kubo, and then I'll close with The Light Between Oceans at number 5.
Wow.
Rocha?
Yeah, my list couldn't be more different. Don't Breathe at number 1, Suicide Squad, Kubo and the Two Strings, which is picking up steam, I think, slowly. War Dogs, which is surprisingly holding it in a middling level. Still, people are coming to see it. And I think Sausage Party, which is kind of getting still a lot of buzz, and people are discovering that film still. So to me, it's more the smaller pictures kind of rounding out the top 5, but that's what it feels like to me. And Suicide Squad, props to Suicide Squad. I mean, the fact that it's still in there, it's still fighting, it's still in the top 2 or 3 is pretty amazing because Batman vs. Superman just sank like a stone, and this thing is still fighting. So you got to give it some kind of credit.
Yeah, definitely tone. There's more rewatchability in terms of just the fun factor and the entertainment factor for Suicide Squad. My list is similar to yours, but changes at the end. Don't Breathe, I think, is going to repeat at number 1. A lot of good buzz on that. Yeah. Did very well. Suicide Squad, I have it number 2 as well. But I think because number 3, I have The Light Between Two Oceans. Okay. I think it would be number 2, except for it's only opening on 1,500 screens, so about half the amount. So I don't think it's going to make it. I think, it's going to attract a wider appeal audience than most people think. And then I have Kubo and the Two Strings at number 4. I'm really rooting for this movie to at least. It didn't open very big, but hopefully it has strong legs and can just keep going. And then Sausage Party, it's just been holding strong. Yeah. People just keep going, and this movie didn't cost that much to make, and so they're definitely going to make us.
No Morgan?
No, I do not have Morgan. I don't see any buzz for it. I mean, I haven't seen any trailers or commercials. No one's talking about this film. Have you guys?
No.
I haven't seen it. Okay. But, I might go see it just to help my own
prediction.
I might go see Morgan 80 times this weekend.
All right, guys, before we move on to mailbag, I want to remind you that at 2 p.m. today, we have a very big, actually the first match of the Ultimate Movie Trivia Schmodown Tournament.
That's right. The Ultimate Schmodown Tournament kicks off in earnest today. It is the top 8 contenders, and one of them is going after the belt that is currently held by Dan Merle, that used to be held by Mark Riley, who is stepping back into the ring today against the Mountain, Elliot Dewberry. Riley is sitting over there right now. He's in full pre-game prep mode. He's got a good sweat going. He's got the flak jacket on. Riley is ready to do battle. So he's the 1 seed. Elliot Dewberry is the 8 seed. Does anybody here think that Elliot has a shot against a wounded Mark Riley?
I wouldn't bet against Riley. I'd put money on Riley. I mean, there's always the chance of, the spin of the wheel. Like when you spin that wheel, you can always end up with something that's just not in your knowledge base, and you can get kind of screwed that way.
Rocha, last time Riley was in a ring, he had a couple mishaps in the second round. He had a couple that time maybe he should have gone to multiple choice earlier. Do you think that he's going to have the same kind of gas? Or do you think he's going to bring his A game once again?
Having had interactions with Mark Riley since the loss, and on occasion, there's a fire in that man's eyes that I have not seen. Sometimes you get knocked off your perch, and when you get knocked off your perch, you get upset, you get angry, you get more dedicated, more driven to succeed. And I feel bad for Dewberry and what's going to happen to him in this Schmoedown match. If he's not literally in flames, spontaneous combustion, by the end of the match, I will be surprised. I think Riley's going to go through him like soft butter. Like I just think it's not going to be.
Rocha, you sound like someone who's speaking from experience.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose, and you lose in such a public way, and listen, no offense to Mark, but Dan Murrell is a buzzsaw. So we've seen two really strong, powerful contestants go up against him and get just mowed down. Riley put up a little bit more of a fight than Clark did, but there's no shame in either loss. And so I understand that, because having lost to Mance the way I did and then coming back and being more driven, I enter the Ultimate Schmoedown tournament with my own drive, my own fire. And so seeing it in Mark Riley's eyes, I hope we meet someday, because I want to see what fire versus fire comes up. Like, if the studio survives, it would be amazing.
Yeah, the best always want to fight the best.
Absolutely.
Right?
And Riley, I love Riley to pieces. He's my boy, he's my dog, and I support him 1,000%. And he's going to kill Dewberry.
I love how pumped Rocha is to talk about this Schmoedown. Sinead, you, Riley, and I are going to be doing mailbag on Sunday. Which Mark Riley do you think is going to show up to this studio?
I don't know. Mark Riley and I are going through something right now because he decided to kill me in a game of FMK last night at Schmoes Know.
I remember that. I remember being surprised. I thought you guys were kind of buddies.
Yeah, I know. I thought we had something going, but I guess not. So I'm going to just be honest right now. I'm not in the best mindset with Mark Riley, but I will support him, even if it's a one-way street. And I will say that I will always have his back, and I really hope that this is a lesson to him. Okay.
See what I mean?
Wow.
He's driven. He's taking out friends even on ancillary games.
Yes.
The man's got fire.
All right, guys. So make sure you tune in 2 p.m. on our channel. That's Pacific Standard Time. Now we're on to Mailbag, where we answer your viewer submitted questions. You send them in to collidervideo@gmail.com. We'll answer them on our movie talk show or on the weekend Mailbag. Sinead, what do we got first?
Brian Lynch writes, "Hey guys, my name is Brian and I'm from Ireland. I had a pretty hard year, and finding Collider Video made my year tolerable.
Yeah.
I realized watching all your videos that I should try to do the things I love more, so I decided to take a gap year from college, explore my options and all that, haha. Anyway, my question is, what actors do you believe will win an Academy Award in the future? For me, Michael Fassbender, Saoirse Ronan, being a little biased, Benedict Cumberbatch, Amy Adams eventually, and Felicity Jones are all likely candidates. Great work, you guys. Keep it real."
I have Tom Hardy. I mean, he's only been nominated, I think, once for The Revenant. I actually thought him and Stallone were probably the best of that last year. But I think, what was it, Mark Rylance won?
Yeah, Rylance.
But his work in Warrior and Lawless also.
And Locke. He was great in Locke.
Oh, Locke, yeah.
He was the movie. It was him in a beamer the whole movie.
Yeah.
Someone like Edward Norton, who's been nominated 3 times, American History X, Primal Fear, and Birdman. I think eventually he will win one as well. Matt Damon already has one, but it's for screenwriting. Yeah. I feel like acting-wise, he'll eventually get one. And then, I agree with him with Amy Adams. She's been nominated several times, and she's eventually going to get one.
Yeah.
Rocha?
Yeah, I like the idea of Saoirse Ronan. I just saw Brooklyn over the weekend for the first time.
Oh, really?
I really enjoyed her in that film. She's so powerful and quiet, and there's just like a sea of emotions underneath her, and it's a rare an actress that can, really bring that to the forefront. I think Michael B. Jordan is a possibility as he gets stronger, especially coming off of Creed. He's getting better and better as actor. David Oyelowo off of Selma, rather, as Martin Luther King Jr. Oscar Isaac, my Latino brother, have to cheer for him. Think he's getting getting great, fantastic roles, and he's going to be stronger and stronger, and they're going to recognize the kind of power this man has, and he will get an Oscar-winning role. Gugu Mbatha Raw, I absolutely love what she's doing. If you haven't caught her yet, find her movie, see her work. It is powerful stuff. Lily James, coming off of Cinderella, I'm really surprised how great she was in that film. Coming out of Downton Abbey, I didn't expect much from her, and she killed it. And I love the zombie. I went to see Pride and Prejudice again.
I enjoyed that.
She was great in that.
I enjoyed that film.
Yeah, I think she's got a strong determination. And, of course, Daisy Ridley, because there is not one unbelievable second in Force Awakens when she's on the screen. She's so good and powerful. I think when they find the right role for her, as she gets older, she is going to knock it out of the park and get an Oscar.
All right, I will take a page from Brian's book and also throw Ronan and Felicity Jones in my list as well. Then I'll also say somebody that I both think is going to get an Oscar at some point, and I'm really rooting for is Michael Keaton. I'm a huge fan of Michael Keaton. Thought he should have won for Birdman.
Absolutely.
I agree.
It was a pretty close race. I'll be honest with you. I think he might even have a shot this year in The Founder, which got moved up to December or moved back to December for Oscar consideration. Somebody else is Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy has done Oscar caliber work in the past, both dramatically and comedically. If you don't think he deserved a nomination for Nutty Professor, go back and watch The Nutty Professor. He's amazing in it. And Jim Carrey's another guy that I root for to get Oscar recognition finally. I think he got robbed a couple times from at least getting a nomination.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine. He didn't get a nomination. Right?
For Man on the Moon with as Andy Kaufman. So I think
stuff.
he deserves at least a nomination at some point in his career. He's that good.
Even Truman Show was valued.
Yeah.
He was so great in that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Now we're moving on to live Twitter questions. You can tweet us at Collider Video, and Sinead will pick out a few. Sinead, what do we got up first?
Terrence tweets, are there any ways to get local theaters to play more small or independent movies?
It's all about finances. I'm talking about with Netflix. I'm saying that you will start seeing more of these kind of smaller films, these indie dramas, move to Netflix, Amazon Prime, any type of VOD service, because that's where the audience for those type of movies are, and that's why you're seeing the Mascots on Netflix. That's why was it Amazon that bought Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to start seeing more and more of that, and I'm sorry, and less of those movies in the theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a place for independent cinema in a theater, and it is always nice to see a movie on the big screen, but when you make an independent film, the goal is not necessarily just financial reward, it's getting eyeballs on your movie and on the work that the actors and everybody behind the scenes did. So if you can do that, whether it's in a theater or video on demand or iTunes, Amazon, Netflix, whatever, get the movie out to the masses and get your work seen.
Yeah.
Rocha?
I think for me, a more proactive approach, because I've heard this question for 3 decades now as independent film has come up and become stronger and stronger and more interesting for people to watch since the 90s. Like, you just ask these questions about it, and you, well, be proactive. Get people together. Buy a theater. Start to look at a business model. Look at a business plan so that you can bring independent film into your town, into your city. We're spoiled here in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, numerous big cities, Austin. They get to watch smaller independent films anytime they want, anywhere here in the city. Even if it's showing in one theater, it's still showing. But in smaller cities, in cities that don't quite have a good film push, you have to do the work. So that's what I would say. I would say get people together, get a business, figure this out, buy a theater, and start the process of bringing people into your theater to watch your films or to watch those independent films.
All right, what's next?
Jesse Reinhardt tweets, with Infinity War approaching, which character deaths do you think will serve the MCU best?
Oh, let's kill some superheroes.
Oof.
I mean, look, as far as emotional weight goes, you have your 2 heavyweights in Captain America, if it becomes Captain America again, or Tony Stark as Iron Man. Plus, those contracts are running out for Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Now, it's interesting having Robert Downey Jr. and then by proxy Happy be in Spider-Man Homecoming, because that could serve a purpose to keep those characters alive going forward. So maybe even if Tony Stark retires from being Iron Man at the end of the second Infinity War, or whatever that movie is going to be called, you could still have him be alive and be a mentor to a younger superhero like a Spider-Man. Because I don't see that franchise running out anytime soon, even if Infinity War goes down. So I think that I don't see Black Panther going anywhere. I think Black Widow has too much potential. I think Hawkeye's definitely eating it. He's got a family and is going to be like, oh no, the one guy that decided to settle down and get married and have kids, of course he's going to die. Also, because he's bringing a bow and arrow to an intergalactic war. Maybe you bring a gun this time, dog.
I will go with Bucky Barnes / Winter Soldier.
Yeah, get him out of there.
I like his character, but I feel like the storyline has run its course, right? Like they put him in the cryogenic, thing in Wakanda, and I just don't know where his storyline, unless he picks up the mantle from Captain America. Other than that, then I don't know what purpose he's going to serve.
He's a loose cannon, Dennis. You got to get rid of him. Maybe you throw him out in the middle of the battlefield for Infinity War, and you hope he's on the right team because you say a certain series of words, and the guy just flips out and starts killing everybody's parents. We cannot trust him in an Infinity War.
And one of those words is homecoming.
Right. Interesting.
Rocha, who do you think is going to pass on in the Infinity War?
R.I.P. Hawkeye. I mean, it just seems so obvious. They have to figure out things to do with him. And Jeremy Renner is such a fantastic actor. It's such a thankless role for him. They gave him a wife and just so the audience would give a crap about him to a degree. And so if you take him out, that might mean more Linda Cardellini, which I'm always a fan of. I love her as an actress. So maybe bring her, get her more involved in everything that's happening.
Oh, you think she's going to pick up the Hawkeye mantle once the hubby?
Yeah,
it's like, we got this costume laying around.
I haven't trained at all in any way, but hey, I'll just pick up the bow and arrow.
Hey, it worked in Force Awakens. So what I think is possible also is I just lost it. But no, the idea of Bucky taking over, sure. And I think with what you're saying, the possibility is that Steve Rogers could retire. Bucky takes over. Steve Rogers goes on his own thing and tries to figure out. And no one's talking. Michael Douglas. Hank Pym could die in this Infinity War as well, which clears the way because he feels a lot of guilt for what happened with the Wasp. If we find out, like we do in the comics, that he kind of was part of the reason why the Wasp and Janet Pym got lost in whatever they call it, the micro, whatever that is, then he becomes an unsympathetic character. Then his death becomes a chance to redeem him. So that's certainly possible.
Here's a question: how about Hulk?
No way.
How about Hulk?
No.
You don't think that's
They
too
finally
big a
got
character.
Hulk right. The last thing they would do is kill him, I think.
Too big a character.
Just saying, the guy gets green and gets pissed off. He's going to be the first one you go after. If I'm fighting against the Avengers, Hulk's the first one I'm trying to take out.
Thor's a possibility, right? Thor could be.
I don't think so. I don't think any of the main ones that are supporting their own solo films are gonna eat it.
Sorry, Hawkeye.
All right, what's next?
Eric Mariano tweets, do child actors get paid more for swearing, i.e. Chloe Grace Moretz in Kick-Ass?
I have no clue how that works.
I would love to have it built into my contract here at Collider to get paid by the F-bomb, but I don't think that factors in then. I don't think that it's like they read the script and the parents highlight like, oh, you want my little Johnny to say this and this and this, then you're going to have to pony up the cash. Right. I think it's...
What about like smoking and stuff like that? Because kids smoke all the time in movies too. So like, what about that? You don't think that there's like...
I'm assuming there's
sort
like
of
some
like
fake
laws
cigarettes.
and liabilities.
Yeah, they're like herbal cigarettes.
Yeah, they're herbal cigarettes.
Oh, they're not real cigarettes.
It's like, Sinead, when they take a beer bottle and they break it over someone's head. They don't
Well, I know
actually use
that.
a real beer
I've
bottle.
tried that out before. I know that, but I was just thinking, like, how do you? I mean, there's a cigarette that's completely 100% healthy. Aren't you still smoking something?
You are still smoking something. Yeah, I was in a movie and I had to smoke like it was a pot
something.
thing, and I don't know how to smoke pot. Like I'm not good at it. I wish I was, but it's like it does still like fill your lungs up with
Right,
something.
right.
But
I can teach you. Anything you need to learn about that, I've learned myself in the last
I
2
feel like
years.
Doctor Strange. Show me.
I don't think there's anything like that, so it's an interesting question. But there is for nudity, right? There is clauses of extra money. You hear this all the time for nudity. I mean, State Maine had
For
a great,
kids?
No, yeah. Well, did you ever see Kids, the movie Kids, or the movie Bully? Those are underage kids doing stuff. Yeah, they're doing sex.
Isn't it? Don't they have to pay more people across the board for nudity?
Well, I think with kids even more so because they're under 18, and so it's a more of a kind of like there's more possible ramifications of it. So you have to pay for that a little bit more. I think that's certainly a possibility. But yeah, the thing you're talking about, the synthetic cocaine. I was watching Any Given Wednesday on HBO, Bill Simmons, and Jonah Hill talked about doing fake cocaine.
It's
on
vitamin
Wolf of
powder.
Wall Street. It's
Yeah.
vitamin powder. He went into the hospital for 2 weeks because
Wow.
it had messed up his lungs and everything. He got incredibly ill from doing it.
They did a lot of fake cocaine in that movie.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. So yeah, that's what not for cussing.
Yeah.
But it does lead to more money down the road because you can handle those words.
Yeah.
That's certainly good.
All right, let's do two more.
All right, Paul Gaston tweets, do you need an associate's, bachelor's, or master's to get into the film and TV industry when it comes to animation?
Animation. I'm not sure. That's probably a question that John Schnepp could answer more. I just know in general the film industry, you don't need any type of... I went to film school, but like it only really helped on my first entry-level job, but after that it's all about your resume and your reel. And so I feel like with animators, you probably could get away with, if your reel is good enough and you have enough material to show that you can do the work. I don't think they like, oh, you don't have a degree, so you can't do this. That's just my guess, but Schnepp would know better.
Yeah, I think they look more at the talent involved first. But I think it is good to fortify your own backbone, like whether you're going to film school or some sort of animation school, just to give yourself confidence that you would know your way around either a set or an animation studio. It might help. But if you don't have the means to do that, if you continue to pursue it, I think you're going to find that a lot of doors will open for you, regardless of what your schooling is. And that's coming from a communications major.
Rocha, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would say if you intern somewhere, that helps you, and they see your work. You don't necessarily have to graduate because they know what you can do. If they find that you have the skills that are more advanced than people who are graduated or who have a degree rather, they will hire you. Because they want the best people working on their stuff. They don't want to just hire you because you have a degree. It means you have knowledge, but you may not have the expertise or the talent to do what they need you to do in animation. So that's what I would say. Intern wherever you can intern to know the business backwards and forwards. And then if they see what you do, if they like what you do, you leave college. Plenty of people who leave college before they graduate because the company they interned at saw their potential. And what's the use of a degree if you can just work there? You don't.
Yeah, I mean, with cinematography, it's like they look at your reel, they
Right.
see that you know your stuff, see your work history, but
Yeah.
they don't look at like where you graduated from
Right.
at all.
If I went to Florida State, I would probably just go ahead and throw on there that I went to the Florida State Film School and just see
Right.
if anybody called me on my craft. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I didn't really go to film school at Florida State, but I'm a null.
I was in a few films at Florida State. Does that count?
All right, let's go to the last one.
All right, Jonathan Peck wants to know, which Chris Pratt movie are you most looking forward to, The Magnificent Seven or Passengers?
Are those our only two options, or can we pick like any Chris Pratt movie that's coming out?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he said.
that
Okay.
Jurassic Globe or whatever the new, Jurassic World movie is going
World
to be. It's
2.
pretty
Jurassic
exciting.
Globe.
Yeah, I would say like Passengers is a movie that I'm very excited. I'm intrigued by. I'd say that premise with him and Jennifer Lawrence. But I gotta say, like, I saw the Mechanic Resurrection the other night, which it shouldn't do. But the trailer for Magnificent Seven was on the big screen, and it was just awesome. It was just awesome, and Chris Pratt looks so good in it. Him and Denzel teaming up and really forming the rest of that squad. So I got to go with Magnificent Seven for my most anticipated Pratt movie.
Yeah, I got to go with Magnificent Seven too. Collider.com wrote a great article how they predicted this is going to be a very successful film in the fall. So I can't go against that. To me, I'm very much a big fan of
Your
Magnificent
$10
Seven.
check is in the mail.
$10. But I went and saw Hell or High Water yesterday, and they showed the Magnificent Seven trailer ahead of it, and it just gets you super excited because Denzel and Chris seem to have a great chemistry that can rival what Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen had. The film itself, I'm a little worried that they're changing it to a white villain, so I'm a little worried about that. But I think what you've surrounded themselves with, it looks like it's going to be a fun film.
I'm really looking forward to Magnificent Seven. But the one thing is, I see the trailer and I kind of know what I'm going to get with that movie. And I think with Passengers, I'm not sure yet. We haven't seen a trailer. It's an interesting concept. It was Morton Tildum, who directed Imitation Game, is doing that film. So I think I have to go with Passengers. What about you, Sinead? Which Chris Pratt movie are you looking forward to?
All right, well, I did the junket for Snowden, and we were all sitting in the hospitality suite, and a few of the press people had gotten to see Magnificent Seven, and I literally, kid you not, they were talking about it as if it was the greatest thing they'd seen.
Wow.
They were like
Good.
all talking about it. They're like, did you go? Did you go? Did you go? And it was what I heard all day. So just based on that alone, there was so much hype in that room for that movie. So that makes me really excited for it.
Did you get to talk to actual Snowden?
Not actual Snowden. He's in Russia. He's not allowed.
But he
in
was
the
doing like a
country.
Skype thing, I heard.
Not at the junket. Imagine.
No,
That
they're
was
doing it
great.
for the Fathom events. They're going to have
Yeah,
him.
they have a.
They're gonna
Right,
have him do
right.
that.
You can buy tickets to it. It's like a 45-minute interview with him.
All right, we'll go together. It'll be fun. We'll make a day of it.
All right, sounds good.
I just love how Sinead just shaded. She's like, he's in Russia.
Is he's in Russia?
All right. On that note, that's the end of our show. I want to thank the people joining us here at the table today. Rocha, where can people find you?
Hey guys, you can always find me at The Rocha Says, ROCHA, as you see it there on Twitter and on Instagram. See all the shows I'm hosting and co-hosting, or the shows I get to be guest on like this. And of course, every Wednesday, 5 p.m., the Top 10 show on the Collider Network. Matt Nost and I counting down the top 10 films or whatever theme we've picked for the week based on what's being released. And please listen to my new podcast, The Cinephiles, where we break down one classic film and talk about its production history and its legacy in film.
Mark?
I can be found show.
Yes.
The movie trivia Schmodown later today. Like we talked about earlier, the Ultimate Schmodown tournament kicks off today with Mark Riley versus Elliot Dewberry. You guys can still submit your brackets to SK something or other. Throw the email up there. Christian made it. skdown2016@gmail.com. Y'all can follow me at Mark Ellis Live on Twitter. Big announcement regarding New York City coming up next week. Clear your schedules for early October.
And Sinead, where can people find you?
I'm online at Sinead DeVries and at thatsosinead.com. Here on Fridays hosting Movie Talk, and on Mondays hosting TV Talk, and then hosting Mailbag over the weekend.
And Wendy, where can people find you?
On Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
And besides finding me drinking later today at the studio, you can find me on Movie Talks on Mondays and Fridays, and Mailbags on Saturdays, on YouTube or Twitter at ThinkHero, and Instagram Dennis.tzng. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider videos, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.